We're back.
We're back. Take how many? Welcome to Lorecast. My name is Marvel. I will be your host.
And I am Logan, the special guest.
Yes, we're back on Dream SMP today. This time covering Carl's side series, Tales of the SMP. But before we get into that, two little headcanons I wanted to mention from the main story that I thought were adorable, and I just wanted to point out. I don't know who thought these up originally. The first is that after Dream was like messing around with the revived book and life and death and all that, he ended up with the white hair, which is pretty cool. He would like canonically have a white streak in his hair because Puns brought him back. I don't think we ever see that on his skin though. And the second was that after Tommy was revived from the dead, there is a headcanon that butterflies start following him around because they're attracted to corpses. And that just made me happy. But we're leaving many of our boys behind today. But Tommy's taking a break. He's been through enough trauma. He's holding hands.
It's now
with the
Carl's
boys.
turn.
Yeah, it's Carl's turn. So we're gonna leave Tommy over here with the boys, so he's okay.
So after covering DSMP itself, we'll still like cover some of the events that happened, but it's like
now we're
in Carl's perspective.
Okay. His storyline. This is kind of what he's been doing since the start of season 2 till like the end of the series. Like, he was acting a lot. This is what it's up to. So, Tales of the SMP is a series of episodes. I think there's like 8. Focusing on our boy, Carl Jacobs. And I have a little fan interpretation for you. We're also going to be talking about Sapnap a lot. And particularly, it's him through different moments in time. As he encounters both past and future versions of characters we know and love from the main story. So, we're gonna get into some really fun and interesting stuff here.
Fun.
So like the rest of the Dream SMP, Tales of the SMP was planned to have more episodes, but they never got to it. So if you do have questions that are left unanswered, that's just because the answers aren't there. So, the first episode is titled The Town That Never Was, and it was recorded on December 26th, 2020. It takes place in present time, so like generally around like on December 26th, 2020, and it features Carl, George, Fundy, Bad Boy Halo, and Sam as they ventured out into the wilderness of Dream SMP with the express purpose of building a town in under an hour. They had a timer and everything. Carl announced that something would immediately happen after the timer, but kept exactly what would happen a secret. So, the 5 started building the central pavilion, and from there they expanded outwards, building the mayor's home, several smaller homes, even a mobile church prime, and a snowman statue.
All under an hour.
All of this under an hour.
Oh,
during this building process, the 5 also found a zombie villager and cured it. So the group renamed the now cured villager Gregory the and crowned them as mayor of the town.
Gregory the
Gregory the 5th.
Why the 5th?
I don't know. Probably because there were 4 other Gregorys before.
It's like very random.
So they're kind of like, as they're building it, they're adding a fake history and lore to it, hence Gregory the 5th. They'll add things like ancient totems and such. George, at one point, even threw an egg directly into the air, and when it landed, hatched 4 chickens, which is like a 1 in 256 chance of occurring. And which they proceeded to then hang those chickens under Gregory's house. Not a good end for them. But after the timer ended, Carl asked everyone to stand on top of a platform overlooking the country, or nation, town, as he put some finishing touches. Carl took nearly half a stack of TNT from his ender chest and began placing it around the town, detonating it and destroying all the buildings that were constructed. After it was destroyed, he renamed it the town that never was.
What?
He stated that he had planned to destroy the town before its creation because he wanted the moment to stay a beautiful memory within its creators instead of being used as leverage. Because at the time, several of the wars were going on. And on January 23rd, 2021, while collecting logs near the remains of Loganberry, Tommy actually discovered the town that never was. He identified it by its former name of Gogtopia, by reading a sign which remained on the ruins of Mayor Gregory's home. He destroyed a flag there and nothing more, and we never see it again. That's episode 1.
Why did they do all that then? It sounds like
it was just a little
challenge,
a little fun.
A little challenge. It sounded like a therapy session, like you build something and then once you like grown like certain attachment or like do something with it, you would destroy it, which makes you feel different about yourself in a certain way. Yeah, so a little raging. The second episode, the second episode was recorded on January 2nd, 2021, and it is titled The Village That Went Mad. Now, unlike the first episode, which took place during present time, this story takes place hundreds of years before the current day Dream SMP and follows 8 townspeople of a not a very good town. All except Carl, who's there as well, for some reason. The villagers' stories follows the rhythm of the game called Town of Salem, where each night the murderers would kill someone, and during the day the townsfolk gathered to figure out who the murderers were before they wiped out the entire village. It's kind of like Among Us, which is based on the Town of Salem. I mean, this was when it was, like, popular.
Yeah. Carl acted as the game master. The first to die was a villager named Cornelius, who was played by Dream. And the next morning, the townsfolk discovered poor Cornelius murdered. Alright, and held a meeting around the campfire. One villager, titled Catboy, yes, that is his name, he was played by Corp's husband. Yeah, Corpse is in this.
Corpse was in this?
Corpse is in this.
No!
Not even Corpse was safe from Dream SMP.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not.
First it was Slimesicle, and now I have to hear that Corpse was in it?
Yeah, Corp's husband playing Catboy revealed that he had felt the murderer's presence as Cornelius had actually spent the night at Catboy's place, right? But he was unable to identify who the murderer was because he was blind. The other townspeople questioned whether or not his blindness was a legitimate or a false alibi, and they then turned their suspicion on a boy named Robin, who's played by Tubbo. To which Catboy, who was his active caretaker, tried to defend him and confess to the crime. Whether or not that's true or false confession, we don't know. In the end, Catboy was executed, and distraught, Robin actually stayed in the jail cell for the entire night. Yeah, they're dropping like flies. This town is not a very good town.
No, it isn't.
Yeah. Next day, townsfolk gathered around the campfire and realized Catboy might have been telling the truth about his blindness. Now, a woman named Helga, who was played by Quackity, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so an elderly woman by the name of Helga.
Did he cross-dress too?
Yes, and he was fabulous.
Okay. Yes. Love it.
So Helga attempted to convince the depressed Robin to speak in his own defense before the townspeople executed him, as Robin had been the closest person to Catboy. Robin put suspicion on a villager named Jimmy, who was played by Bad Boy Halo. The town sent Robin and Jimmy onto the chopping block. Robin did not defend himself and only hung his head in sadness. He received the most votes and was promptly executed, joining Catboy in the afterlife. Carl, our game master, who has kind of been watching this the whole time, revealed that Robin was not a murderer, nor a villager, or a doctor, or a sheriff, but a jester. His role in the game was to get the town to kill him, and as such, played his role perfectly. And although, being the jester, he would have technically won the game, they decided to keep going.
During the night, once again, Helga went stargazing alone on the rooftops and was murdered. With her death, the murderers achieved dominance against the remaining innocents who were killed in their homes right after.
Dropping like flies, like
Yep.
I said. Oh my.
The only two survivors were the murderers themselves. Jack the farmer, played by Ponk, and Bob the builder, played by Laserbeam, who walked...
Laserbeam! Yo!
Yeah, by the way, I think Laserbeam was, like, more part of the lore I just didn't bring up. There were, like, two people Dream and Puns kidnapped and just, like, killed over and over again during their experiments. I think Laserbeam might have been one of them.
I knew Laserbeam, like, he played Fortnite mostly.
Yeah, he was in this.
Dude, another character, a famous, like, YouTuber drop.
I know, right?
The third one. How many more?
I mean, Carl was part of Mr. Beast's
No,
crew.
Well, yeah.
So he probably made a few calls. We don't know.
I think he's still with Mr. Beast. It's hard to know
he
nowadays.
He kind of distanced once he started joining DSMP. I don't know if he's back with them now or doing his own thing.
I think he's back. I don't know. Nah,
But the two murderers, walked free and away from the town. Now, that's where the episode ends, but a little later, within present day, we actually learn a little more about what actually happened in the not a very good town. See, within present day, we learned that Ponk is actually a descendant of one of the murderers, which makes sense as he played Jack the Farmer within the episode. He gives us a bit more on the tale, though it differs slightly from the one we witnessed. Rather than it being a series of murders, it's described as witch hunts, and even the order of death seems to change. This, Ponk's version of events, appears to be the real story of what happened, though Ponk is coy about where he got the information and mentions Jack's diary. Cornelius was described as a strange man and was the first burned as he was accused of tampering with the crops, and they had indeed improved after his death. A villager named Miles was next, though his crime was unknown. It's implied he was Robin's father, hence why Robin was in the care of Catboy by the time we see him. Jack is also revealed to have been stealing things from the villagers, though we don't know what. It's also implied that Jack was in love with Helga. And Jimmy, Helga's husband, who was also the mayor, knew about it. Oh yeah, there's tea, there's lore.
Of course.
Sometime later, Punk said that he might be related to Jack the potato farmer, seemingly having forgotten that he called Jack his ancestor multiple times. He also said that he learned about the village from Helga's diary, contradicting his initial story that he read about it from Jack's diary. Punk then spotted a house on the horizon and felt a connection to it, feeling it was Jack's house. The house was in horrible condition with many of the parts of the walls missing, and the entire thing was covered in cobwebs. Within the house, he managed to find a secret room littered with statues, chests, and Jack's diary. Within the diary, he said something about Carl, but Punk himself expressed doubt that it was the same Carl he knew. It was probably just a different guy by the same name. And it also meant that Helga's diary had probably mentioned Carl being there as well. Within Jack's diary, we get more on his story and what was happening in the town. Jack wrote of a strange man, made of straw with eyes made of emerald, a description which sort of matches Foolish's appearance and color scheme, and we know he's lived for a very long time. So, perhaps he was there. The book also included something about a new land that used sand as stone and had gold everywhere, a description matching Foolish's builds. It said that the strange man was fascinated by lemons and brought him 21 statues. 2 weeks after this encounter, Jack's writing seemed to become more and more incoherent. He wrote about cats in the walls and said that the cats murdered people. He also disliked Bob's interest in his new statues. Then, one day, he wrote that he had the sudden urge to murder. He said that Helga was tempting, but her husband needed to die first. Jack stopped writing in the journal for the next 135 days, during which most of the village that went mad likely took place. His last journal entry was after the village that went mad, babbling about how only him, Bob, and the statues were left, and life was good. Now, what I'm really intrigued by this is Foolish being mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if this is the supposed job that went wrong that Sam and Quackity talked about during Las Nevadas when they wanted to recruit him.
That's possible.
So, like, I wonder how involved were you?
The building is very connected because, like, he made a lot of statues. Like, he did the statue of,
XD.
XD, yes.
Yeah.
And then, like, some
other stuff.
That one was really cool. I saw that statue.
The third episode is the beach episode, which was recorded on January 9th,
Yes.
2021.
Yes. I love this type of, like, episodes. They're so fun.
Now, this one's a shorter introduction because, like all beach episodes, it is filler and doesn't have a lot of lore.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a fun watch if you wanted to go do it. Now, this appears to take place somewhere in present time, as we're not dealing with alternate versions of the people we met before, like previously, Dream played Cornelius, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we're dealing with our actual people. The beach episode involved a group of participants going on Captain Blockbeard's treasure hunt. This involved the group going to multiple locations to discover clues, along with some minor audience involvement.
It was a pirate event?
Yeah, it was like a pirate hunt. Our participants are Dream, George, Sapnap, Bad Boy Halo, Rambo, and Carl once more, who acts as an observer and game master. After arriving at the beach, the group quickly found a sunken pirate ship and a journal entry from Captain Blockbeard, and thus began their journey. The group explored much of the area, including a lighthouse, the sea, an island, secret caves, and much more. Along the way, they discovered more journal entries from the pirate, as well as an enemy of his, titled Captain Crimson. At the end of the treasure hunt, they managed to find Blockbeard's treasure, and chat decided Rambo played the best pirate of them all and should get the rewards.
Yes.
Rambo does actually get, like, Captain Blockbeard's sword as one of the rewards, and he does use it at some point during Dream SMP, but I'm not sure if its appearance is canon or not. The fourth episode is titled The Lost City of Mizu, and it was recorded on January 24th, 2021. Mizu is Japanese for water, by the way. So it's like the city lost water.
So, like, Atlantis?
Kind of, yeah.
Yes.
This episode takes place hundreds of years into the future, where the stories and legacies of the members of the SMP have been passed down through generations. However, despite the legacy left behind, many inhabitants of the future SMP do not believe that these people really existed. Interestingly, we do not watch through Carl's perspective this episode, but Isaac, who was played by Carl. So we're almost watching through an alternate, possibly future reincarnation of him, that kind of thing. A group of 4 fishermen, Isaac, played by Carl, Benjamin, played by Bad Boy Halo, Charles, played by Rambo, and Cletus, played by Quackity. Cletus.
I like that name.
Right? Alright, these two are set to go out fishing one day, but despite their initial plan, Isaac opens their front door to find a mysterious book called An Adventure that had been mysteriously left there. Inside the book had a message. Hello there. You don't know me, but I know you. Your lives may be boring now, but rest assured, it is time for you to start creating some tales to be remembered. There are many stories you may have heard of what have been passed down from generation to generation, and many are fables. But some are true. It is time for you to take a look for yourself. There is a lost underwater city nearby that holds much truly valuable information of the history of the great world we live in. I implore you to seek it out. Who knows? Maybe you'll find something you didn't know existed. P.S. The city's residents may have been MIA for quite some time. Maybe they left behind some history themselves. The book also left coordinates to the lost city of Mizu and had been written by an anonymous author, signing only K at the end of the book. Could have very well been left by Carl.
Yeah.
The group treads to the coordinates where they find a stone dome, and underneath the water a city that they had never seen before. Inside the dome is a room that is locked, and a chest that consists of a lever. When the lever was used to unlock the iron door, a book on a lectern awaited the group with the following message. The city of Mizu, an underwater city of beauty. Explore the lands and get up and close and personal with all your favorite characters from the Great Disc Wars. Be welcomed by smiling faces around every corner who all share one thing in common. Their beautiful passion for timeless tall tales. The group found a lever inside the locked room, which when activated opened up a secret passage that led to a ladder straight down into the city of Mizu. As the group descended the ladder, they were greeted with a man by the name of Ranbob. Not Ranboo, Ranbob.
Who's Ranbob?
Who was played by Dream.
Bro, what?
And he also happened to bear a striking resemblance to the familiar half-Enderman figure we know and love.
But he's already in this tale.
Mm-hmm. Right? Ranbob introduced himself and noted that he had been alone down here for so long, and even seemed almost unsure of exactly who he was. Ranbob went on to note that the city had been long abandoned except for himself, but he wasn't around when the city was first built. One of the first things the group noticed inside the room was the amount of blood and bones spread around it. When questioned about this, Ranbob admitted that many people had died within the city and eluded any other questioning. The group would continue touring around the city with Ranbob as their guide, finding themselves in the cafeteria and another room containing multiple sets of leather armor, chests, and various items. Ranbob first notes here that he has a bad memory and can't quite remember things. So he appears to be some future descendant of Ranboo.
You did say that when DSMP ended, Ranboo ended up being in the Nether with Michael.
Yeah, he was brought back to life with Michael. Now, throughout the city, there were various locked rooms that had to be unlocked with a variant of pressure plates and levers. Each room had a book and quill, and a small blurb about a character from the main series. However, it was usually inaccurate, and with the complete opposite description of the characters we know. The first being George the King, and this is what it read. George was the longest-lasting king of the SMP. Pictures of him were found all over the SMP, proving he was worshipped by his followers. If only Eret hadn't killed him. Ranbob mentions that Eret was a tyrant who tried to take over with an iron fist. Isaac found a book and quill in George's room that had the following written in it. How to get your friends to stop bullying you for being colorblind. A helpful guide. Because George is actually colorblind.
Oh.
Yeah. Ranbob mentioned to the group that it was an ancient book found at the castle, but they weren't quite sure what it meant. The next was Ranboo the Traitor. Ranbob takes the group through another tunnel, leading them to a room dedicated to Ranboo. Ranbob reveals that he is indeed a descendant of him on his mother's side, and that his ancestors were the bookkeepers of the events that happened through the Dream SMP, and that they had some of the greatest memories of all time. Although this is alluded to be false, as Ranboo himself has terrible memories, and it explains why most of the descriptions are inaccurate.
Yeah. I was literally like, no.
Ranboo was alluded to be a great scholar, along with his descendants, as he wrote books that are used to tell the stories of the past Dream SMP. The book and quill in his room had the following written in them. First off, a little smiley face, dream symbol. Ranboo the Hybrid, part Enderman, part redacted. Despite not wanting to choose a side, he unintentionally chose the side of a traitor. In constant inner turmoil, his life was filled with ups and downs, but one thing remained important. His moral backbone was as strong as a chocolate eclair.
So not that strong.
Not that strong, and I think that's a John Mulaney reference. The next was Sapnap, the pet protector. Ranbob notes that Sapnap was known as a brute force who loved his pets and started the pet wars to defend them. The group finds a wooden axe, which can be used to chop down any birch logs, as well as a book entitled A Wooden Axe, with the following in it. A wooden axe, a staple in the olden days of Dream SMP, used to cut down many a tree. Similar to the story of Punk's great tree, use this axe to break any birch logs you may see around. Could be anywhere within our great city. While there was a birch log within George's room, the group never gets to it. So that's like a secret room left undiscovered.
Oh.
They also find a book and quill in Sapnap's room, which reads, "Just how strong was Sapnap? Some say he could bench press mountains." I could believe it. Look at him. Look at him. I could believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Tubbo.
Tubbo could
Tubbo
very
could
well
do it.
bench press mountains.
Yes.
I fully believe it, okay? Isaac notes a wooden trap door in the room and beckons the group to go down it. They find a room full of barrels and an enclosed farm, as well as a book log belonging to a farmer, stating, "Farm log 538. Someone spread poison in the soil. Won't be able to grow any crops until it's cleaned or we replace it." They find another tunnel entrance with the sign "Danger" overhead. They go through it despite the warning. At the end of the tunnel, they discover a meeting in an armory room, which according to Randbob was where the council held their meetings and discussed their decisions. On the table was another book. Meeting notes. Discuss decreased food supply. Status on strange sightings around the East Wing. Status on entry products. The group continue down the main hall to find a power room, which is powered by lava and monitored by computers. Cletus attempts to play Neopets, Angry Birds, and Club Penguin because according to him, his ancestor, implied to be Quackity, used to play those computer games. They eventually travel upstairs and find a birch log as they proceed to mine it. Underneath is a chest containing Fundy's room key. Rambob leads them to Fundy's rooms, forgetting the direction on the way due to his inherited memory issues. In which we get Fundy the pet.
Fundy the pet.
They find Fundy's room containing his fursuit, and more historian documentaries about him. The book within the middle of the room stated, "Still unsure if Fundy was a person or a pet.
Wait.
We'll have to do more research."
Is this alternative universe depicting that the furries are pets?
Well, they don't know if he was a person or a pet.
Dude! That's crazy.
Right? They also found a wooden pickaxe with a book, which read, "A wooden pickaxe, a perfect showing of what Dream SMP is all about. With the countless fights, there will always be the understanding. Everyone is meant to mine. Use this on every brick block you see. It could be anywhere in the city. Who knows? This could lead to keys to the rooms." Before they traveled back to the main room, they found another book about Fundy, stating, "Hello! Fundy is my favorite character of all time. Many look at his character as a great warrior. Some look at him as Tommy's pet. I look at him as the best character in all the stories my family passed down."
Okay.
Damn, Fundy, you got demoted, my guy.
Demoted to be
to Tommy's
pet.
pet.
How?
Crazy. Alright.
Okay.
They find another maintenance log as they continue through the city, stating, "The air filtration unit has reached maximum capacity, searching out alternatives to maintain proper oxygen levels. Investigating coral oxygen production." They travel back to the farm room and find a brick block. They mine it to find a chest containing nothing. They even explore the cafeteria room some more and find another brick block, which this time does have something inside it, specifically a key to Quackity's room, along with a book. Quackity is such a bizarre character to me. He's always so happy-go-lucky, even though there are so many bad things happening around him in these folktales. Bizarre. I want to understand his character more. Maybe if I spent more time in his room? And now we reach Quackity the Bard. They eventually find Quackity's room and go inside to explore. The room is decorated with stone bricks and lanterns, as well as a big yellow duck design on the floor. They find documents of Quackity around the room, reading, "Quackity the Bard was famous for his songs all across the land. If only he wasn't also the most prolific nudist. He also liked to pull pranks on the other members of the SMP, and apparently idolized Skeppy and copied him frequently." By the way, that small part is true. Quackity just has a habit of losing his clothes so much throughout this series. I don't know why or how.
That now?
I forgot about it, honestly, till now. Alright, let me see.
Weird, okay.
There we go. Quackity was a character that time and time again was found being hyper-optimistic, even though there was so much chaos surrounding him. He was eager to hang out with Bad Boy Halo, frequently from his manly charm, as described in the stories. For this reason, there's a button hidden in this room to unlock the gate leading to BBH's lair. They eventually find the secret button under a desk and open the barriers to Bad's lair on the opposite side of the hallway, in which the first room they see is actually Skeppy, the diamond idol. The room was decorated in lots of blues and a face of Skeppy imprinted on the floor. Paintings of Skeppy and Bad Boy Halo can be seen inside the room, along with credit to the art, by the way. A pot containing a poppy flower on the desk and diamonds within chests. Here, they find more documents and books. Skeppy was a man so rich, they say he coated his skin in solid diamond. I believe this to be an exaggeration, though. He was, however, known to be best friends with Bad Boy Halo, if a little obsessed with him. Correction from the first page, was obsessed with Carl Jacobs, not Bad Boy Halo, in which this correction was actually added by Isaac.
Wow.
Or he just wrote in the book.
No.
Rambob mentioned that Skeppy had been believed to encounter a change of color, but he stood by his belief that this was incorrect. Another book read, I love Skeppy and Bad Boy Halo. Some stories I can't tell if they're best friends, married, hate each other, or just the same person altogether. One thing's for sure, I think there's something beyond the BB-8 room that I can't quite reach. I guess we'll never know.
I feel you. We'll have to find out, though.
To which, reach BB-8's room, as well as his documents.
Yeah.
Bad Boy Halo, the Spellcaster. Bad Boy Halo was known for his prolific cursing and casting spells on other people. His most powerful enchantment was apparently language, which would prevent the target from speaking.
Language.
AKA Bad Boy Halo actually hates swearing, and every time somebody else did, he would yell language at them.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a weird way to say a lagoon. No.
Lagoon drowns them.
Lagoon. I love it.
Okay. Rambob added that there was one other story that was told, that he cooked muffins for the entire server, but this was unconfirmed. They explore the room and find a brick block with a lever underneath. They flip it, opening a secret door leading to someone's room. This is the unnamed room. The room is decorated with bookshelves and the colors green and purple, along with a codename Kids Next Door poster in the center. Rambob has trouble remembering who's it supposed to be. They find a book which reads as follows. Who is this? I honestly am so confused. I feel like sometimes this character is a major part of something, but the next minute they're nowhere to be found. There are so many mysteries about this one, but mostly, why does this room need access to the water? Underneath the room, in the water, they find a chest and a minecart. Charles goes underwater to get the contents of it, and he resurfaces the group to find a key belonging to the rooms of Tommy and Tubbo, which are apparently a shared room, which I think is adorable. It is implied that this room, the unknown one, likely belongs to Carl, as indicated by the color scheme and the fact that no one knows who this room is dedicated to. Isaac also secretly locks the room behind them on their way out. Rambob leads them to Tubbo and Tommy's room, and they unlock it. Tubbo's room was decorated in yellow with lots of references to bees, a picture on the wall of Tubbo and others from L'Manberg, which the group looked into. They found documents about him. Tubbo was the leader and most experienced fighter of the Manberg warriors. His most loyal follower and ally was Tommy. Getting a bee specimen underwater has proven most difficult. I do not consider why Tubbo considered these a delicacy, as the stingers make my mouth swell up entirely. So they assume he ate the bees instead of keeping them as pets.
You don't eat the bees. The bees are kind.
Next was Tommy the plate collector. They explore upstairs and find Tommy's room, which was decorated with red.
Does it have discs? They think that the discs are plates?
Yeah. It had the same L'Manberg picture as Tubbo did in his room, as well as a picture of the Queen of England at the time. They also found more books about him.
Wait.
Yeah, it's like a running joke in the series that Tommy would really like to marry the Queen of England, and he is willing to fight people to do it.
So in this room, it's like
a picture of the Queen.
Next body pillow.
Okay.
No, they wouldn't.
Now here's what the books about Tommy say. Tommy was apparently a big fan and collector of plates. They all appeared to be damaged, however, with a hole in the middle. Underneath the picture of the queen read, "Found a picture of a goddess that Tommy used to worship. We'll see what else I can uncover in the old storage."
I mean, they're wrong. Wait! No!
I don't know.
I don't know what
They
the
find a
queen is
wooden
doing.
shovel as well, as long as a note next to it. A wooden shovel. Always proven to be an extremely useful tool in many tales about the Dream SMP. Use the shovel to dig up any grass path blocks. They may have some important clues to unlock more parts of our beautiful city of Mizu. They go back downstairs to Tobo's room and find a grass pathway block. What they found underneath was a chest containing a tree dome key and a book about Tobo. Tobo! Tobo is easily one of the most lovable characters in any story anyone has told me from my time in the city. So gracious, so caring, and he loves bees! Actually, he loves nature so much, I bet if he ever came to the city, he'd love the beautiful tree dome room.
He would.
So that's exactly where they go next.
Nice.
The tree dome is a giant circular room with bushes outlining the walls and a giant tree in the middle, a swing set, and a bench along with a jukebox next to it. They notice that Rambob is nowhere to be seen, but find a grass path block with a chest underneath containing a secret room key, as well as a chest on top of the tree. It was decided that Cletus climb the tree, and he willingly does so. He makes it to the top, grabs a book from the chest, and the tree suddenly sets on fire as Rambob appears behind Cletus, setting off TNT and burning the latter alive. Cletus throws the book towards Isaac before burning to death. Isaac, panicked, races towards Skype room and sees the tree burning from the window, to which he goes to read the book. No one usually checks up here. Well, I suppose I should reveal where my secret room is hidden anyway. Go back through the main hall. It'll fit perfectly into the block that doesn't seem to fit in. If you're reading this, you're probably aware. Once within the city of Mizu, there is no escape. I wish you the best of luck. Go down there. I guarantee that will be your best way to survive. And it has a signature in it, but what it is, we don't know. It's just question marks. They go back to the meeting room and find a chiseled stone brick and place the lever on it, revealing another underground pathway. They climb down and find another document that whoever explored here could not traverse the next room. I haven't quite built up the courage to try and traverse the lava-ridden room, but maybe, no, for sure, that must hold the key. It must be a way out. The other end of the room was a secret room, but it was sealed off. The group ends up choosing Benjamin for the task, in which he reluctantly agrees to do it, and goes through the lava parkour course in fear of falling. Benjamin makes it to the final step, but unfortunately trips and falls into the lava. Isaac and Charles, so Rambo and Carl, are shocked at the loss of another friend, but Isaac focuses on his mission and goes through the parkour himself. He makes it through it and finds a chest with a key inside. He climbs back down and reunites with Charles as they find their way to the opposite end of the room, opening the secret room with the key they found. The secret room is decorated in black concrete and neon green pillars, with a diamond armor and weaponry surrounding them. At the end of the room is an enclosure that contains a mysterious creature. Rambob interrupts them and explains that the people of Mizu did not just document the history of these people from long ago, but worshipped them as idols. And well, his was Dream.
I knew it. Yes.
When asked if Dream was a good guy, Rambob replies that he was, depending on how you look at it. Rambob then traps the both of them inside, stating that nobody leaves here, killing both Charles and Isaac, and the screen turns black. But that is not the end of the episode.
Oh.
The next part is what I've titled the library. The screen reappears with Carl, our Carl, inside a cave and in front of a portal. Purple and sky blue turning in a slow spiral. There's also a chest with 2 books and a poster, which Carl takes. He then travels up the cave to a ladder lit up by a soul lantern, where he climbs up to enter the library. He documents his most recent adventure. The lost city of Mizu, a terrible place for many years in the future. It was told that 4 brave fishermen went in, looking for stories to tell for themselves, but ended up only meeting the same fate as the many residents of this once happy city. He signs it, and places it next to the other books detailing his previous time-traveling adventures from the series. He then displays a poster of Velocity of Mizu above the book, same as all the other entries in the library, and then writes in his diary. Diary entry number 1. Each time I travel, I remember less and less. I really need to start writing these as soon as I come back to the present day. I'm going to start keeping track of every time I travel. I'm worried one day I'll travel and not even remember who I am anymore. Maybe I should stop. No, I can't stop. I have to keep doing my part. Maybe if I travel enough, I'll be able to right some wrongs. Maybe do something to prevent all the bad I keep seeing. I need to keep this quiet. I can't tell anyone what happens or how I know these stories. But I can try to do my part to steer this world in the correct direction. Till next time, don't forget who you are. He places the diary in a chest before leaving the library, which is a secret room within his own house. We can also see that Carl's signature colors on his hoodie have been slightly altered, a side effect of his time traveling. So that's what he's been up to. All of the previous episodes have been him time traveling. Yeah. In which, here's a bit of trivia about the episode. First off, the historical documents are likely inaccurate, as the people of Mizu are descendants of Rambu and inherited his memory problems. There were other documents as well that the group didn't find, according to clarification from Carl himself. On Rambu's January 26, 2021 stream, Rambu mentioned to Nikki that he plans to build an underwater city. Fans reasoned that this city would end up being the city of Mizu.
Oh,
yeah.
So they used like a scrapped idea to make this episode?
Yeah.
Nice, I like that.
And now, episode 5, The Masquerade. Recorded on February 3rd, 2021. Did I write down? Yeah, okay, I do say when this takes place. A masquerade party is hosted by a wealthy man named Sir Billiam III, who is played by Technoblade.
Oh, shit!
Yes! And
Yes! I'm sorry. Okay.
No, I'm hyped too. And attendees, including 5 guests and an uninvited commoner. Everything seems to go well until the lights went out and murders began taking place. This episode takes place in the past, though it is unclear precisely how long ago the masquerade took place. It is predicted to take place after 1857, due to the vintage of the wine seen in the mansion. Carl arrived in front of the mansion and met Sir Billiam III, a rich man who owned said mansion and was the host of the oncoming masquerade ball. Billiam did not recognize Carl, assumed he was a commoner, and asked what his occupation was. Carl replied that he was a Minecraft streamer, much to Billiam's delight, who proceeded to give Carl a tour of the mansion, where he was like, yes, a rich person.
Marvelous.
Marvelous.
Follow me.
Billiam toured Carl around the 2nd floor, meeting up with his own unnamed butler, who was played by Rambo. On the way, they toured the guest bedroom, an overview area of the ballroom, the dining room, the balcony, the aquarium, and multiple libraries. Carl asked Billiam why the 3rd and last library had 2 identical paintings of a spider next to each other. But Billiam quickly deflected the question. They made their way to the ballroom area, drank some wine delivered by the butler, and Billiam often commented that the butler was slow, threatening to punishing him by forbidding him to eat for a week. Which is almost like an opposite parallel dynamic to Techno and Rambo, who are like mentor-student.
That is. But
No,
the fact that this is acting, it's all a funny game.
Get out of here, butler. They returned to the main area and awaited the arrival of some of the masquerade guests. The first to arrive was Oliver, wearing a fox mask, who was played by Van Dam. He's a rich old man with a frail voice. Next to arrive was Lord Sebastian, played by Bad Boy Halo, a close acquaintance of Sir Billiam. As they were about to leave the ballroom, another guest by the name of James, played by Sapnap, entered and requested some drinks. Billiam asked him about his family, and James replied that he had been divorced and his wife had taken custody of their children.
Billiam was stunned by this news, but mostly about the fact that James was a horrid conversationalist, not actually that anything bad happened to him. Last of the invited guests to arrive was Liaria, who was played by Nikki. Especially close to Sir Billiam, and shared his distaste of the poor. So, like, Nikki and Techno were besties in the syndicate, so now in the past, they're like rich besties.
Let me tell you. The tea.
This is the real Bridgerton. The last guest to arrive was uninvited and introduced himself as Drew. I'm not saying the rest of his name because it's an inappropriate joke.
Wait, can I read
Yeah,
the
you
name?
can read it. I'm not saying.
Oh, wait. Oh.
Y'all are gonna have to watch the episode yourself if you want to know it. He does this every freaking time.
You can just call him Drew PW.
Drew.
Drew PW.
We're gonna call him Drew. We're gonna call him Drew. Okay.
Okay.
Billiam ordered the butler to get rid of the commoner, but Drew claimed he was here for the nudist party, to which Billiam told him that he was at the wrong address, and the actual address was 3 blocks down.
Wait.
Apparently. I don't know.
What?
Drew, however, decided to stay in the mansion instead. The guests weren't fond of this idea, but Carl pointed out that since the usual butler, who would have been played by Dream, was ill, Drew could help the butler with his chores. So Dream is supposed to show up in this episode as another butler, but was sick. So.
Man.
Drinks, games, conversation, and the several attempted murders of Drew played out for a while before the lights suddenly went dark. Carl hid under some crates, where he saw Liaria hide within a secret passage, and someone pass by with a sword. The lights suddenly turned back on, and the group met up at the piano. Most of the group made it, except for Drew and Liaria. After a few moments of panic, Liaria arrived late. They noticed Drew was missing, so the group split up to try and find him. They went to the Grand Library and found a secret passageway around the back of the bookshelves, blood seeping through the shelves as they found Drew's head, the rest of his body nowhere to be found.
A body has been
Discovered!
No.
That's some Danganronpa type.
No, Drew PW.
I'll miss you. The group discussed who they suspected murdered Drew, while Billiam gave gold to everyone to keep silent, as a found dead body would reduce his property value.
What?
That's actually a running joke with Techno.
Yeah,
He cares a lot about his property value, okay?
Oh, another one.
They suspected that the butler was the murderer, but he claimed he hadn't seen anyone since the lights turned off. The group sped out to find clues that could lead to finding the identity of the murderer when the lights suddenly turned off again.
Oh my goodness, it's
Carl
just
saw-
a clue.
Carl saw someone highlighted with a sword kill someone in the room below before the lights turned back on. The group reunited and found that Liaria and Oliver were missing. They eventually found Liaria's dead body by the wine barrels, and Oliver nearly drowning in one of the aquarium tanks. They managed to get him out and asked Oliver how he ended up there, but received no direct answer. The group discussed who murdered Liaria, and Billiam was accused, but stated that he would rather pay someone to commit murder rather than doing it himself. The butler was with Billiam the whole time, and Sebastian was at the ballroom bar. The group then suspected Carl, but believed his innocence, and no one was found to be hiding a blade on them. They found a secret tunnel by the barrels leading to a small office, as well as a tunnel leading to the ballroom area. Carl remembered that Liaria went into a tunnel to hide earlier, meaning she must have hidden in it again, and when climbing out the other side was killed. Carl suspected Sebastian due to his proximity to the tunnel, but Sebastian claimed that he would have been protecting the barrels of wine. To prove it, Billiam asked Sebastian what the vintage of the wine was, to which Sebastian answered 1856. Before they could discuss, the lights once again shut off. Carl led Sebastian upstairs where they hid in the bathtub. Later, they moved to hide in the bedroom closet. Carl, it's okay. You don't have to go back there anymore.
You say that. Oh, yeah.
Oh my god. And the fact that it's BBH in there too. It's okay, boys. Come out of the closet. We already know.
The closet is good.
The murderer moved dangerously close to them, and Carl curled up in the corner of the closet out of fear. They heard the doors open, and Sebastian was dragged out of the closet and killed.
The lights turned on again, and Sebastian was nowhere to be seen. Carl found Oliver outside the room, the rest of the group falling behind. Oliver and Carl suspected each other, and Billiam later found Sebastian's body in a corner. Carl proposed that the group separate into pairs to find the murderer more easily. Carl stayed with Billiam, Oliver stayed with James, while the butler would tend to his duties alone. Carl hid with Billiam in a spacious bedroom when the lights inevitably went out. Billiam led Carl to a secret hiding spot within a closet until the lights came back on, and they crawled out, finding Oliver outside of the closet with James's dead body near him.
Oh, but it wasn't him, wasn't it?
They immediately suspected him, but Oliver objected, saying that if he were here to murder people, he would have used a gun. The butler was given limited freedom of speech and defended his own innocence. They were in 5 words or less. Tell us why you're innocent.
Bro.
William and Carl immediately believed him and zeroed in on Oliver. He then proposed another buddy system for the next blackout, telling Oliver and the butler to stick with each other to prove their innocence, while William buddies up with Carl again. The next round goes by, and lo and behold, Oliver is dead. Though the butler claims he had a heart attack, he didn't kill him. Obviously, neither of them believe him and run out of the room with William leading the way and the butler giving chase. They end up back at the Grand Library where William orders the butler to stand by the doorway, to which he surprisingly complied. William shows Carl a secret entrance behind the spider painting from earlier and into what he dubs his favorite room of the mansion. The floor was scattered with red vines, and at the end of the room resided what William called the egg.
The egg comes back?
William told Carl the story of how he discovered the egg beneath this abandoned mansion. He resided within proximity of the egg and renovated the mansion above it. After all, someone had to feed it. Carl asked if William had been behind all the recent murders, and he replied that there was no need for him to be involved when the egg could convince others to do it. It had infected everyone. It convinced Liaria to murder Drew, which he did.
Oh.
Sebastian had murdered her. Oliver then murdered Sebastian and James, and the butler murdered Oliver. The unfortunate thing for Carl was that the egg wasn't quite satiated yet. William encouraged him to accept his end calmly, and when Carl tried to run, he found himself impaled on the butler's blade.
That's a epic plot twist.
Yeah.
I didn't know the egg was
here,
in this. I was
but that's not the end.
Oh.
There's more.
Oh? There's more?
Carl woke up in a pristine white palace. In the center was a flower pot containing a withered rose. His clothes were completely gray and white. He ascended the stairs and found a book. This is the land of the in-between, a world you have been to a few times now. It's time to comprehend more of what's happening to you, Carl. The in-between acts as your gateway for traveling in time. It isn't a dimension you're familiar with, but in some senses, it's a home away from home. The key to you grasping more of an understanding on your time-traveling abilities lay within this gorgeous castle you will soon get to traverse. Fear not. This is not a place to provoke harm, but a place to feel at ease. He then explored the castle as the book had told him to do. He discovered the garden and a book titled Knowledge 1 that was attached to a tree and decided to read it on the swings. You don't get to choose when you time travel or when you return, but you already know that. And that is something that will remain true. Something that doesn't need to remain true, however, is your body's deterioration. I know that every time you time travel, you lose more and more understanding of who you are, and this is something you can absolutely solve in the future. I can guarantee if you explore this castle enough, you will one day know what to do to stop losing yourself and have better control over your mind. Good luck. Carl then ascended to the second floor of the castle and found another book titled The Warning, over by the railings. I will leave you with one clear objective. You do not have a choice in the matter. You will continue to time travel, and you will continue to regroup back here in the in-between. But you must continue to write the stories along the way. The preservation is worth every second of your time. These stories are important to continue to share what the world is and who you are. More important than each story individually is the library itself. Next time you're back to your library, you need to move it. Find a peaceful land and start fresh. Try to get everyone to join you that will. But Don't let anyone know about where these stories are really from. Don't let anyone know about what the in-between is, and don't let any harm come upon your library. Till next time, enjoy yourself. I hope to see you back here soon. Carl looked across at the castle and then traveled back to the present, and into his library where he began to document his recent time travel in a book titled The Masquerade. The Masquerade. A group of rich people come together to a party, or so they thought. What began as a group of friends having fun developed into a nightmare for many. A suspicious mansion owner ended up using his power to attack and murder each of the guests through manipulation in ways we are unsure of. After documenting his recent travel, he then proceeded to write a new entry in his diary. Diary number 2. The In-Between. A place I don't quite understand. I feel like I've been there before, but I can't put my finger on it. I can't keep losing my memory, and it seems like every time I go to the in-between it happens. But I can't just stop going. Maybe there's more to that place that I'm unaware of. I just have to keep looking deeper and deeper into the in-between so I can find a way to ensure that I don't lose everyone else that's so close to me. I need to move this library. It needs to be preserved. I will find every way possible to ensure that no matter what, I can do my part to bring happiness to these lands. One preserved story at a time. Don't forget yourself. And that's where the episode ends. But here's some trivia.
Another trivia. Nice.
First, when Sir Billiam was welcoming Liara to the mansion, a potted bloodvine seed could be seen on a table in the background, foreshadowing the reason why the guests would go on to murder each other. Netherwort blocks also lined the wall hiding the egg, and certain door frames throughout the mansion, also indicating the presence of blood vines. Sir Billiam said that he had another butler named Hubert, who ran off. This is likely a reference to Techno's butler, a zombified piglin wearing a jack-o'-lantern that he named Hubert. It could also be the name of Dream's unused character.
Mm-hmm. Because he was sick.
Yeah. And now, remember, way back when I first discussed the egg and Bad Boy Halo was trying to convince Techno to join them, Bad Boy Halo said that the egg thought Techno was really familiar.
That's cool.
So that's why the egg recognized him.
Oh, where's that?
The next episode is titled The Wild West and was recorded on February 14th, 2021.
Oh, Valentine's Day?
Right? Oh god, I just realized some... Oh, I'm going to talk about that at the end of this.
Huh?
Okay.
Huh?
This episode 2 takes place in the past and seemingly around the same time and possible area as the Masquerade.
Really?
Carl arrives at a bar that was being robbed by a group of bandits consisting of Jack, I'm not saying his last name,
Wait,
who was played by Quackity.
What's his last name?
I don't think I have it written down, but it too was a dirty joke. She got it.
Oh, I just connected it.
Quackity, my god. So we have Jack, played by Quackity, Mason, played by Sapnap, and Flint, Michigan, played by Connor. He's back.
Connor? Oh.
Connor eats pants. The Sonic the Hedgehog wearing guy. Oh.
In this Wild West, is he...
I think he is I don't know if he's wearing a different skin or if he is still in the Hedgehog onesie.
No, he needs to be in the Hedgehog onesie. He's always in the Hedgehog onesie.
I hope he's committed to the bit. Okay. Carl confronted the bandits on behalf of the owner, John, played by Rambo,
Okay.
and chased them off. John was very grateful and offered Carl beer, B-E-E-R-E, a supposed brand of beer. However, Carl questioned why John was selling beer despite looking like a minor. John acted defensively and quickly changed the subject after. So he's illegally selling alcohol.
Yeah.
Carl suggested that they gather the citizens of the town together to fight off the bandits for good, and John begins to lead him throughout the town. John first takes Carl to the bank, where they meet Percy the banker, played by Tubbo, who confronts John about his debts. It was revealed that John had taken a loan to run his saloon, and the two had a history of gambling together. Carl convinced Percy to join them as the group headed to their next stop. The trio then met Sheriff Sherman Thompson, 1 week away from retiring, and played by Techno.
Yeah! I was like, that is an interesting name.
Yep.
as well as Crops, played by Corpse. He's
back! No!
And Crops is a prisoner and a cannibal.
Oh,
We also have Michael Ronson, son of Ron, who is also the son of Ron, played by Fundy. And finally, Clerk William Williamson, played by Bad Boy Halo. All three joined the group.
Interesting cast.
Right? All three joined the group, though Crops was treated with suspicion. Notably, Michael accidentally killed Percy's banking bee with fireworks he set off, causing Percy to become furious. Carl then suggested that the sheriff take them to the shooting range and teach them how to properly use their guns, which they would need if they were going to confront the bandits.
Yeah.
Right, and they did this for quite a while. It became late. The group gathered around a fireplace at the end of the town street. They decided there should be 3 fair one-on-one duels between 3 of them and 3 bandits. The sheriff volunteered for the first duel. Carl nominated John for the third, and the second was chosen by audience vote, which turned out to be Crops.
Bro.
The first duel started with Sheriff Sherman Thompson and Flint, Michigan. The first 10 paces were taken, the turn was quick, and Sheriff landed his shot on Flint, earning his win for the beginning match.
Was that a Hamilton reference? The 10 thing and then the shoot.
I mean, yes, it's technically a thing that's in Hamilton, but that's like just an actual historical thing.
Oh, my bad.
Little like tumbleweed. Before the second duel, Carl gave Crops a pep talk, gazing at the Church of Prime, which apparently is an established religion even in the past.
Huh.
So Tommy didn't seem to have invented it, but at the very least, like, was the one to establish it within Dream SMP.
Reoccurrence.
Sheriff Thompson gave Crops his gun titled Old Faithful, but Crops had never used one before, and it took too long to draw. So Crops used the gun he took from the target practice instead. Jack decided to face Crops, and talked about the afterlife, and the duel began. Crops turned after 6 paces, cheating, and killed Jack before he could react. I don't know if I mentioned this later, but it is implied that, like, Crops, like, took his head and just ran off into the sunset with it to eat it, because he's a cannibal. So, like, they let a cannibal prisoner out of jail, let him kill a man, and then he just, like, dragged the body off.
Oh my goodness.
So Crops just, like, goes free after this. Okay. The third duel began, and Carl gave John a pep talk while Mason taunted him, and the duel began. Carl counted 10 paces, the pair turned, and fired. John was sadly killed. Carl jumped to face Mason next, declaring that the town couldn't afford to lose any more people. The sheriff counted down from 10. Carl turned to face Mason, and fired, killing him instantly. Oh yeah, there's Crops feasted on the corpse and then fled the scene, and the sheriff neglected to chase him since he was only a week away from retirement. Now also, can we talk about Carl killing a past version of the love of his life here? Okay? Like, because that I think has been in most every episode. So he died in the Masquerade, where Carl had to find his body, and now he's the one who shoots him in the Wild West.
The angst version of Will We Love Each Other in Every Universe?
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. Depression. Carl leads everyone else to the Church of Prime. He took the altar and honored John's memory whilst Ron set off a firework. Carl left the church, shocking everyone by letting them know that he never intended to replace Thompson as the sheriff like they assumed. They said their goodbyes, confused, and Carl disappeared into a mine shaft. After a quick transition, a sweeping shot through the in-between castle took the viewer to Carl, where he now stands on one of the balconies. So every time, like, remember that portal I mentioned in his library?
Mm-hmm.
That's like him coming out of the in-between.
Yes.
He looks down towards a rose with a book framed underneath. This is the in-between, a world you have been to a few times now. You're starting to connect the pieces little by little. You may not even know that yet, but it'll be apparent for you soon. There is so much to the in-between you need to explore. I implore you to continue. Fear not. This is not a place to provoke harm, but a place to feel at ease. Carl walked through the castle and down a flight of stairs where he comes across another version of himself.
in his completely white in-between outfit. Carl followed this version to the courtyard, where he came across many more versions of himself that could be seen wandering around. In front of the swings and the tree in the courtyard laid another book. As you are aware, you've been here many times now. It's like you're home away from home. You'll see that if you don't figure out what this world is, or what about this world is harming your memory, you'll start to be wary of others, even your closest friends, which is why you absolutely need to continue to search this castle. The in-between is a gateway for you that you may be able to tap into for the better. Carl placed the book back and headed out to the courtyard to look around. As he entered the corridor, he waved at another version of himself, but the version carried on walking straight through him.
Christ. Oh.
From there, he headed outside and saw the book they had first saw from the balcony. The sun setting through the opening in the garden, he took it and read through. This is a beautiful castle. I think it is unlikely you'll ever be able to traverse the whole thing in one visit. Unfortunately, that means there will always be secrets left undiscovered. The castle is dynamic. It is alive, similar to you or me, constantly changing and growing and adapting. This is not a bad thing. If anything, it will help you find a way to stop this harm being done to you. Fear not. This is not a place to provoke harm, but a place to feel at ease. Carl placed the book back and headed into the castle the way he came, through the pool room. In the outside walkway, he came across an opening in the wall behind one of the firelit lanterns, finding a book titled with question marks. In it was only one sentence. Look under the tree. Written in all caps, compared to the normal spelling of the other books he's found. He placed the book back again and looked towards the nearby tree in the walkway. But with nothing there, he went back inside, up a flight of stairs to the main room of the castle, with another book and a dead rose in the middle of the room. Stories like today's can show that not everything necessarily has to end in misery. Stories can all be happy and cheery, and stories can be miserable. But this doesn't make any one tale more important than the other. I think it's time for you to get to see a bit more of what the castle looks like. Continue on and discover all of its beauty. Carl continued on through the main hall and out the other side, where he found another tree out in the open. He looked down into the water, and underneath, saw a door within the floor of the water. He didn't go in and investigate. Instead, he found a book at the tree roots, which repeated the phrase, "Don't stray from the path," once again in all caps, over and over again on the first 87 pages. He put the book back and headed down a path leading him to the front of the castle grounds, where there laid another book in rows directly in the center of the garden. This is the end for today. You may not think you have gotten closer to the end result. I know you desperately crave, but you have. I know you don't want to lose your friends. I don't want you to either. Do not tell anyone about the in-between. This will be the last time you travel back to your original library, but it may look a little different this time around. Make sure you preserve its stories. It is essential. I can guarantee if you explore this castle enough, you will one day know what to do to stop losing yourself and have better control over your mind. Till next time, enjoy yourself. I hope to see you back here soon. With that, Carl walked to the very edge of the front area as the cinematic camera pans out to show the full extent of the castle, sitting on a floating island all of its own, before cutting to black. The viewers don't see Carl return to the library in person, but the credits repeat the final page from the book. I know you don't want to lose your friends. I don't want you to either. And now, trivia!
Yay!
During Carl's meeting with the sheriff revealed that the reason the town was so poor at the time was that a man had stolen the town's money and ran. Carl then saw a wanted poster and recognized the mysterious man as Sir Billiam from the Masquerade, but kept quiet.
Hell
So Sir Billiam was the one who
no.
robbed the town.
Hell no. Is that why he's so rich? That is so messed up. Yeah, he would.
In a Twitch email, Rambo revealed that money seems to not be the only thing Sir Billiam stole from the Wild West town. He pointed out that John said that a brown-haired orphan also went missing around the time. This is implied to be the butler from the last episode, which means the Masquerade likely took place some years after the Wild West.
Child labor? Oh my
Child
gosh.
labor!
Techno does, like, hate orphans for some reason. Despite
Yeah, he has a
them.
thing against orphans.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna use
No,
this
not
orphan.
actually, just his character.
Yeah, Techno's character. He's like, I'm
But
gonna
no.
use this orphan.
Yep.
You'll make a good
he
butler.
stole John. Not John. He stole the
Kidnapped
butler.
A child for child labor. That is insane.
The next is The Haunted Mansion, which was recorded on March 4th, 2021. Oh, yeah, another thing about the Wild West taking place on Valentine's Day. Killing his husband. Crazy.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
Luigi's Mansion.
Yes, Luigi's Mansion. This episode takes place sometime in the future, but not very far, as some of the characters appear as themselves, like in the town that never was in the beach episode. The theorized canon date for when this episode takes place, is March 9th, 2021. I'm not sure that the various characters that appear in this episode are alternate versions or reincarnations of like the other characters as we've seen before. They could just be random people played by the streamers, so it could go either way. Carl arrives at a house which Connor rented. He's back! God damn it! I have like a weird love-hate relationship with him. I'm like, you never do anything, but you're always there. So I have to write about you. I got beef with Connor Eats
You
Pants.
mentioned him, like, in the Wild West, but he wasn't even there.
Like, yeah, he was, like, barely did anything. Okay. Alright, so Carl arrives at a house which Connor rented for a party with some of his other friends. After playing a game of Duck, Duck, Goose, the owner of the home, Glatt, arrives.
Wow.
Ghost of Schlatt himself.
Oh my god!
He's back!
He's back!
He's back!
Yes!
Alright.
Oh, I dropped my die.
Alright.
He's back!
He tells the group that he owns multiple homes, which he rented out as Airbnbs, and is willing to let them stay at a property with a higher value, as it's vacant at the moment. Glatt leads them to a mansion, which he claims he rents out for $1 million a day. Yeah.
Okay.
When they arrive at the main hall, Glatt takes Connor hostage and hides him away. To get Connor back, the rest have to find 3 nether stars and place them in item frames in the main hall.
We don't need Connor!
Connor's been kidnapped.
But they don't care about Connor.
Every nether star can be found at the end of a hallway. The group gets through these hallways or trials by completing parkour and various puzzles. Every time they find a nether star and place it in an item frame, Glatt takes people from the group. After the first nether star, he takes Porkums, which I think is played by Techno, and Gump. I don't remember who plays him. The second, he takes Francis and Zachary, and after the third, he takes Greg. I didn't put who these people are played by for some reason, but I know at least one of them is played by Satnap.
Of course you do.
Husbando is back. Okay. When the group puts in the third and final nether star, a lever appears, and the floor opens up to reveal Glatt's lair, which also appears to be his tomb. They fall in a pool where everyone is sitting with a skull over their head, and the group presumes that they are dead, and freak out. However, Glatt and the others reveal that they were just having a spa day next to Glatt's grave. This angers Carl, and he leaves.
Okay.
That's it. That's it of the plot.
That's it?
That's it of the plot. This is a more chill plot one, but we're getting way into the in-between.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Carl returns to the in-between, and was shown running across the bridge towards the castle. A book was placed in the middle, which Carl headed towards and read. This is the in-between. A world you have been to a few times now. Welcome back. You're doing so well. Sooner or later, I truly believe you're going to uncover all that you need from here. Fear not. This is not a place to provoke harm, but a place to feel at ease. You probably have a lot of questions about the things you see here, and I'd love to answer those. Continue onward, Carl. Interestingly, whoever is writing these books has become much more expressive, repeatedly using a smiley face, consisting of a colon and a bracket, which is not Dream's signature smile, but Quackity's. Oh. Carl placed the book back in the frame and continued on to the castle, up a flight of stairs into a bedroom, which he found another book.
Wait.
What?
I was thinking, like, I keep thinking about Las Nevadas, of how Carl, like, reacted with Quackity. Are we gonna get into that in the Tales of SMP?
Yeah, so in the original, Carl had no idea who Quackity was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we are going to get into that.
Okay.
The next book reads, I think it's time you start learning about this place. This is the in-between's only bedroom. It is for our time travelers that find themselves sleepy after a long day of time traveling. This is specifically nice for the many Carls that come through here because they have many, many great stories to tell the SMP. He looked out the window, seeing one of the turrets on the castle grounds. As he turned around to leave the bedroom, he noticed another book under the tree, titled with question marks. Reading on page 1, Find a Way into the Portal, in all caps. Pages 2 to 9 are blank, but page 10 reads, It is more important than you know.
So pages 2 to 9 got redacted.
So there appear to be 2 people now writing in these books. Our normal in-between narrator, who is now using these smiles, and having Carl continue, and the second author who types in all caps. He returned the book back, left the bedroom, and headed up the flight of stairs. A cinematic shot showed a portal directly above Carl, and swept around the castle to rejoin his point of view as he headed outside to another flight of stairs and back inside. The portal was blocked off by an iron gate, with a book in front, reading, Don't stray from the path, over and over again on a single page.
Oh, that's scary.
Up another flight of stairs,
no.
he returned outside to find another book at the center of a balcony.
Hey, Carl. Glad you found your way over here. Fear not. This is not a place to provoke harm, but a place to feel at ease. Moving along explaining this place. This is a hot place for time travelers to travel to. It is wild. This place is so beautiful that even time travelers that can go anywhere at any time, ever, and they still choose here. Look at all of those time travelers down there, Carl. All of them choose to travel these halls, uncovering mysteries and telling stories. How beautiful. Continue a bit more. I have more to share before you leave. Carl placed the book down and looked over the edge of the balcony to find a courtyard with swings down below, and many of these more ghostly versions of himself walking around. He headed off the balcony and back the way he came to the bedroom. Down the flight of stairs, in the middle of a staircase at the bottom, there was another book, again titled with question marks. On page 1 read, Go Under the Tree.
Oh, again.
Again, pages 2 to 9 were blank, but page 10 read, You can't afford not to. Carl walked down another flight of stairs and came across the library, but did not enter. Instead, he walked to the right, across a walkway and down a ladder, where in the corner was another hidden book, titled with question marks, and reading exactly the same as the previous one. Down another 2 flight of stairs, Carl came across the birch tree discovered last time he was here, and looked towards the door at the bottom of the moat that surrounded the tree. This time, he dived in, and went through the door, coming across a book in the middle of the room, and our caps lock Spuddy has wrote to us again. Thank God you found it. It can't see you down here.
It.
Up a ladder to the second letter, he found another book, again in the middle of the room. Don't trust this castle. It isn't what it seems. You don't want to know the truth about those other forms of you. This place is not okay. Find a way to the portal. Carl placed the books back and headed out of the rooms inside the tree and swam up to the surface. There, on the floor, were 14 separate books, all in a line in front of the birch tree. He picked up the first one on the left, titled, Just Listen, and on one single page repeated, Just stick to the path, over and over again. All the other books were exactly the same as the first, all written by our caps lock narrator. Carl looked over the balcony to the area in front of the whole castle and saw another book directly in the middle. He walked down towards the castle and read it.
The in-between is such a gorgeous place, isn't it? So many beautiful mysteries to be solved. Relaxing, breathtaking, mysterious. What else can one ask for? It is a time traveler's dream. I can't wait to see you once again soon. I'm sure it's going to continue to be great between you and I. Good luck. You will be back in your library. Please keep it safe until next time. It is vital to keep these stories safe. The SMP needs you, and you need me. We make a great team. See you soon. The camera panned out to show the castle in its entirety before cutting to black. Within the credits, it repeated the line, "The SMP needs you, and you need me. We make a great team." And all throughout this, our narrator that types normally is using Quackity's smile. And now, we reach trivia.
Another one.
So, this is where I mention it being Quackity's smile, and it may be using said familiar smile to reassure Carl and get him to trust it. Secondly, Renbu's character in every episode for some reason just has milk buckets in his inventory. Like a concerning amount. I don't know why. That's just like a random running theme.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
Okay. You said that there's like different voices like writing these books, right?
Yeah, so there appears to be 2 different people because of the distinct writing styles.
So there's 2 in total.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's the one writing to Carl, the one we've heard since the beginning, who's now using the smile,
Okay.
and our one in all caps. So those appear to be the 2 unknown forces talking to him.
Will they reveal?
You'll find out.
Oh. Okay.
The next episode is titled The Pit. It takes place but it was recorded March 20th, 2021. The episode takes place 100 years into the future, 1 year before the lost city of Mizu.
Huh.
In the Subin Empire, or Subin, I think it's Subin, because like subscribe.
Oh.
Yeah. In the
Subin.
Subin Empire, it follows Carl, Emperor Porcius VII's, played by Techno, new cameraman. He's back.
I just want to see how that's.
Yeah. As the 2 watch gladiators fight in the Empire's Colosseum to become a new general. Carl arrived in the middle of a market in the Subin Empire and immediately met Emperor Porcius VII, played by Techno. The Emperor, looking for a cameraman, hired Carl and took him to the Colosseum. Afterwards, both of them went down to the cellar to interview the gladiators and choose competitors for the first fight. There was a scene at some point where Carl comes across John, played by Sapnap, and for a moment they just stare at each other before continuing on. Like, even if Carl can't really put it together, he knows this is his fiancée.
Oh my gosh, they're soulmates.
They are literally soulmates. But like, I don't know when in the episode it is, but it is just that quiet moment where they stare at each other and then continue
like
on.
passery.
Oh my
goodness.
Stop! No.
It's like when Tommy and Selma were seeing each other.
I'm missing up my voice. I'm sorry.
I broke her.
Clingy duo!
Clingy
duo, my beloved! Okay, back in focus. Okay. Emperor Porcius and Carl came across the first of the gladiators, Jackie, played by Tubbo, who explained that he was brought into this competition from the streets against his will and would very much like to leave. Then, they met Lagius Maximus, played by Fundy. And Jackie and Lagius were directed to the elevators where they would take them to the arena of the Colosseum. Porcius and Carl went to the royal box. On the way, the Emperor explained that the last cameraman was executed for filming the entire event in portrait mode, giving Carl more reason to record this event nicely. He's like, record this nicely or die.
You're like, don't record it like this, record it like this.
Yeah. Now, in all of the following duels, Porcius seems to have some strange and magical ability that allows him to alter the terrain as he so pleases. For this first round, there was a tower and lava, and Jackie was the one to win the duel. In the cellar, Carl and Porcius met Bartholomew, played by Jack, who was drinking. They also spot Watson, played by Phil. In fact, Watson is his real life last name, by the way.
Oh my gosh, Phil!
Yes! I actually have so much fan art I can show you.
Yes!
Okay.
Yes!
Who was practicing at the shooting range. The 2 were directed to the elevators. On the way back to the stairs, they also saw Jackie throwing up at the distance as he had apparently drunk some Bartholomew's beer. Carl asked Porcius whether this was legal, to which Porcius responded that the legal drinking age was 3.
Huh?
This round...
Porcius, no!
Yep. This round had low gravity, and Bartholomew won and immediately asked for another drink. Alright. Poor Watson. He is lost.
Oh, no!
In the cellar, Carl and Porcius met Levi, played by Puns. Levi described fighting in his past and stated that he was ready for battle. They then probably met John, played by Sapnap, whom they dismissed instantly for having a boring name. Instead, they selected Guinevere, who was played by Hannah, to fight against Levi, as she stated that she had been training for this event her entire life. She and Levi squared up in the arena, full of both water and lava, before Guinevere won. Back in the cellar, Carl and Porcius realized that they had an odd number of contestants. They met Ran, played by Rambo, and decided to just give him a free win because he had a cool name. They then met Edward, who was played by BBH, whom they selected for the next duel. Carl and Porcius encountered John again and mocked him for his name some more before Porcius used a royal decree to change John's name to Ugly. Carl had suggested the name Handsome, but his suggestion was ultimately dismissed.
Ugly.
Name change or not, the arena was flooded and John won the duel. Before the next round of fights, Carl suggested that they get a story from all the competitors. So they sat those who were in the next round around the table. They found John sitting in the corner, and after deciding that that Ugly was too harsh of a name to become a general, they renamed him to Grievous.
The Grievous?
Grievous.
Grievous.
Oh, that's even worse. Carl then interviewed each of the competitors one by one, starting with Jackie. When they got to Bartholomew, they found him asleep and drunk, to which he was promptly woken up by Watson. Once they had spoken to everyone, they selected who would participate in each fight, with Jackie and Guinevere going first. The two were placed in an orb of water floating above lava, and eventually Jackie won the fight and proceeded to the final. He headed back to the cellar and was asked by Carl to send the remaining 3 competitors up to the arena. This one consisted of water and zombies, but in the end, John was once again victorious.
Ha! Huzzah!
Good for you, John. Grievous.
Grievous.
The final round was between Jackie and John, with the two jumping between the different arena layouts before Jackie managed to snag the victory. This was not the end, though, as Jackie was then assigned to kill the previous losers of the duels, to which he managed to succeed and was titled the new general. Unfortunately, not even Carl was spared, as he hadn't taken the lens cap off the camera and therefore got no footage.
Oh, it's even worse.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's worse of like
in
trying
portrait
to
mode.
In portrait mode.
Interestingly, when facing off with Jackie, Carl stated that there was a connection between the two of them before letting himself get killed. Now, what exactly this means, I don't know. I'm not sure we ever get an answer, but my mind immediately goes to my ships. Immediately.
Of course it does.
Because I do feel like Carl and Tubbo and his various alternates do have some similarities in how they treat their beloveds and that sort of thing. So that's like my interpretation. I don't know.
It could be any other way, but yeah, that seems
Alas,
good to settle it.
Carl returned to the in-between castle.
Oh. Every visit is just getting worse and worse for him. I'm scared.
And in the front area of the castle, he picked up a book in the middle, which read, "Welcome back. So much has happened all around the world since you've been here. There's much to learn about yourself. I'm glad to finally see you again. I see you have accidentally strayed from the path recently, and I must remind you, don't stray from the path." Now immediately, I am suspicious, okay? This is a note from me in my notes, because in our previous trips to the in-between, we've presumably had 2 people writing to us, our caps writer and the one using Quacky's smile. And now, the one using the smile is saying things that our caps lock writer has told us before. Don't stray from the path.
Could it be the same person?
I mean, I do know, but I don't know.
Dysfunctional thing.
Carl walked up one of the staircases around the side of the castle and reached a birch tree. The scene suddenly changed, and the usual white castle had turned black, whilst the usual music could be heard in reverse. Carl dived into the water under the tree and into the room he had visited the last time around. The room was completely dark, but in the middle lay a book which read, "Go up the ladder." It has a surprise waiting for you.
Oh no.
Once again supporting my suspicions. Last time we were here, the smiley voice didn't know about the room under the tree, but now it's in here. Doing what the book said, he headed up the ladder to the second room floor, which was lit by torches around the side, and a message on the far wall that read, stick to the path, with the smiley face. On the floor of the room were random splatters of blood. He headed out of the room and back up to the shore, where the scenery snapped back to normal. The normal music, the normal white castle. On the other side of the tree lay another book titled, Stay and Read. Noticed you strayed from the path a bit there. Your mind seems to be playing tricks on you. Let's not let that happen again. Go to the room where this all began. Looking towards the room directly in front of him, he saw another book, which was entitled Origins. This is where you first joined us in the in-between. What a joyous time it has been. I feel you have learned so much about yourself and the abilities you possess. There is still so much to discover here in the in-between, but I can see you are starting to doubt yourself. How silly. I can tell you aren't yourself as much lately. Must be having some crazy, terrible, and skewed imagination. I assure you, this is a place not to provoke harm, but a place to feel at ease. Don't trust the illusions. They are only your mind deteriorating. Don't trust anything except for the path. Just stick to the path and read the books. He placed the book back and walked out of the room and came across another book in our wall. Our caps lock writer has returned. Please, just get to the portal. The in-between isn't what you think it is. He placed the book in his inventory, and just as he did, the screen glitched and the music changed. Carl also stood in the room where he first joined the in-between, but this time, the book in the middle of the room read, Stop straying from the path, Carl. I know you more than you do. I know what is right for you. These visions should not dictate your opinion on the in-between. It is safe here. Carl walked down a flight of stairs and through a corridor with a distant burning fire being heard, and the other versions of himself could be seen walking around. He ran after them and came to the courtyard with the tree in swings. The world once again glitched to that dark setting that he first encountered at the large birch tree. In the courtyard, he picked up another book placed on the tree and stood on the swings to read it. These versions of yourself have lost themselves. They have strayed from the in-between for too long and have lost who they are, doomed to traverse this castle forever. These are not just visions, this is reality. Go to the portal. It sounds like our caps lock writer, but he is no longer in caps. The world glitched again, this time showing a vision of the portal before taking him back to the first room. This time, it was completely dark, apart from two torches standing on either side of a book. Carl walked over and read it, and as he did, the world glitched again, different music playing. Don't go to the portal. I will see to it that you will regret it if you do so. This is not even a warning. We will come and make sure you don't stray from the path. Now scared and unheeded by the warnings, Carl turned back and started to run across the castle while the sky turned gray and started raining. As he ran, the world continued to glitch, while several messages appeared not in a book, but on the screen itself. Follow the torches. It can't follow you through the portal. You'll be home soon. Keep going. Hurry. For your friends, protect your stories. Following torches placed around the castle, Carl eventually made it to the portal, this time no longer gated off, but instead, there was a book placed directly in front of it, which he stopped to read. You may never remember your friends again if you go into this portal. Don't be silly. The in-between is here to keep you warm, comfortable, and most importantly, it is supposed to keep you in tune with the powers you possess. Do not let these visions get to you. This will not end well. You will lose everything. Don't be silly. But unconvinced by what he had read, Carl placed the book back and took one last look around the in-between castle from the window, and stepped into the portal.
My goodness.
After entering it, Carl was taken to a new place, a much bigger castle than the one of the in-between, with land swirling above it. This was the dark castle Carl had been getting glimpses of, gray and black with magma blocks and a lava river being the only source of lighting. The weather was rainy, and the sky was covered with gray clouds. He walked into the castle and found himself in a large room with a flight of stairs at the end. After walking up, he found a book in the middle of the floor, this time guarded by a white tulip as opposed to the wither rose that guards the books in the in-between. The book read, Welcome to the other side. You're home now. Let's explore more soon. presumably the person speaking is our old caps lock voice, now speaking normally, while that Carl is in the other side. And now, some trivia!
Yay!
At the beginning of the episode, while Carl was walking to the museum, the fishermen characters from the lost city of Mizu could be spotted in the background.
Oh, so it's like
So,
reoccurring.
as I mentioned, the pit takes place 1 year before the lost city of Mizu.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Rand's skin is most likely based on a beta Enderman who have green eyes. The same Enderman as Rambu's normal skin. Jack really was drunk through a lot of this
Are
stream.
you kidding me?
Yeah, so like his character being drunk is because he himself was drunk in real life.
Bro, that's insane.
Phil was a huge contributor to the story and the things we see in this episode. He was also originally supposed to show up as Jest himself, considering that he is canonically immortal. But right before the episode, this was Carl was like, no, play somebody else, which is a missed opportunity. The immortal and time traveler dynamic we could have had going on here, or an immortal version of Phil seeing a different version of Techno.
Well,
Fanfic writers, hear me.
Yes.
And that's it. Now we reach the last episode,
We've come so far.
The Maze, which was recorded on February 11th, 2022. This episode takes place in the future, possibly around the same era as the Pit. It follows Carl and 8 other people who have been taken and placed into a maze called the Labyrinth of Ceaseless Agony, while being guided by the host, Mr. Sickle, played by our beloved Charlie Slamsicle. Carl wakes up and meets 8 other people who also have no recollection of what happened before arriving. After panicking a bit, they introduce themselves to each other. We have Parker, Puns, who gets interrupted by a person with bandana, but is able to say that he has a holster, but what's inside is a mystery. Everyone else decides to disregard his name and call him Blondie.
Blondie. Wait.
The person with the bandana introduces himself as Mike Hunt, who's played by Sapnap.
My cunt.
I missed it! I caught all the other ones! The one dirty joke that got by me! I was lured into a false sense of security. I trusted you!
Marvel! You missed that one!
I missed that one.
You made me say it out loud!
We're moving on.
Oh my goodness! Oh, what an interesting name until I said it out loud.
Right. And Carl quickly comes to like Mike, because the man is smitten for every version of his fiancée that he runs into. We also have Toby, played by George, who remarks that he wasn't wearing earrings when he wasn't abducted, but is now.
Huh.
We have Hamilton Billiam, played by Techno, and his younger brother, George, played by Tubbo, who are descendants from the legendary Sir Billiam. We have Frodo Haggins, played by Foolish. Definitely great, fantastic name. Extraordinarily original. Okay.
What? Wait, how old?
And there's also Orion, who is played by BBH, and an old man I'll be calling Pills, because his name is also a dirty joke, and is played by Quackity.
What's his dirty joke name?
I don't remember it.
You kept his, but not... Are you...
I was only looking out for Quackity. Sabna lured me into a false sense of security. Okay. As Pills tries to see what's in Parker's holster, Orion notices a giant screen and calls everyone over to it. After a few seconds, it turns to a man briefly crying. Oh. Okay, so this is voiced by Slime in the original, or Charlie. I'm going to be reading it myself, so the cadence might be wrong. I encourage you to go watch the actual ones.
Ooh, I like to watch the actual ones.
Oh, we're live. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Labyrinth of Ceaseless Agony. I'm your host, Mr. Sickle, and is everyone ready to have a good time today? Great! Don't be. This maze is full of puzzles and challenges, the likes of which that none of us has ever seen, and it's your job to get through them all and become champion. But of course, as you all know, if any of you are still in the labyrinth when the sun sets, don't Don't be in the labyrinth with the sunsets. Well, good luck out there. I'm really rooting for ya.
What?
George offers to lead the group, but a confused Pills is already wandering into it and forcing Parker to lead the way. He has Parker at cane point. Go before the young man. Okay. The group picks up the pace and enters a large room with a maze garden surrounding a circle of 16 podiums, each with a button. They notice another screen on the side of the room and receive another message from our beloved Mr. Sickle. Uh-oh, the road ahead is blocked off. Looks like you'll need to figure out how to unlock it as a team. Let's see how much you can push each other's buttons. Oh, and hang on to anything you might find. It could help you later. Okay, bye.
Oh my gosh, wait, is these messages coming from a screen? Or what, how, wait.
I don't know how they do it. I actually haven't watched this episode.
Oh, because it reminds me of, the raccoon from the, indie horror game, the added
the Indigo Park.
Yeah, it reminds me of that.
Okay. The group press several of the buttons, but it usually results in them getting flung into the air, in Orion's case, getting put in a cage, and having their heads replaced with various objects. Using those objects, however, they manage to blow up a way out of the room. Once they do so, the walls start closing in, and Orion is fortunately left behind to be crushed to death. The group travels through a small, forested maze before entering a large open stone room with a chasm in the middle. Purple platforms emerge from it, and 2 buttons on a purple and blue block before it. A screen on the other side turns on, with Mr. Sickle. You found yourself at the edge of a cliff that is sheer, but perhaps with teamwork, a pathway could appear. I could have just said what was happening, but instead I rammed it just because I felt like it.
Oh my god.
What's the point? Anyway, you guys are doing great or something. Keep it up!
You guys are doing great or something.
Pressing the buttons causes the platforms to shift, and after a lot of infighting, most of the group manages to make it across. Though Toby, George, Mike, Parker, and Pills fall into the chasm. Don't worry, they're not dead, or most of them are not dead. We'll find out what happens to them later. We also find out what was in Parker's holster, which was Pills' pills.
Pills' pills.
Yeah, he was looking for his pills, because he's an old man. Alright, the group, after making it across, meet up once again with Toby and Mike, who were fighting each other because Mike was the one who pushed Toby into the chasm. Before jumping in himself. The group continues through a maze section with dripstone and lava, before reaching a room with 4 colored corners with some terrain in them and a circle in the middle. The nearby screen turns on, and we get another message.
Oh, screens? Yeah, you did say the screens.
Okay, can everyone please make their way to the center circle? Now, it might look like there's no way out of this puzzle, but trust me, sometimes all you need is a little push. The group makes their way to the center circle, and the rest of the floor disappears, revealing a sea of lava. A fist fight between Toby, Mike, and Hamilton breaks out. Frodo attempts to stop it, but is rewarded when they push him into lava. The floor reappears, and the gate opens. So they had to push someone into the lava to solve the puzzle.
That's crazy.
And they did it by accident.
A sacrifice.
Orion and Frodo are dead, but it's okay! Pills is back, I guess.
Pills is back.
Though Parker might also be dead, and I'm pretty sure Pills killed him. I don't know. Hamilton finds the exit and leads the group into a massive Egyptian-inspired area. A screen turns on, and another message. Well, there's more of you left than I expected. This might... Okay, listen up. In this secret area, there are 5 secret keys to unlock the next door. A goal of the block usually means you're close to one. You just need to complete this before the sun sets. You can do this. You need to do this.
You need to do this.
The next section involves puzzles and parkours through the Egyptian landscape, statues of gods, the Sphinx, and more. They have to obtain 5 wither roses from the door, and frankly, Mike, Carl, and Hamilton carry this whole section like the great people they are, and eventually get the door open. Good news! Parker isn't dead like I thought he was, and he rejoins the group. Bad news! George hasn't shown up again since the chasm, and Hamilton is very upset that everyone is returning except his little brother. The group proceeds through a maze section made of marble with white flowers and birch trees. They reach a large room with a trap door and a lever in the middle. And Mr. Sickle gives us another message. This is the furthest anyone's gotten in a really long time. But to complete this puzzle, someone has to die. You can't beat it by force. For this puzzle to work, someone has to flip the center switch and fall. The sun is setting. Make a choice. Mike is willing to literally take the fall for the group, but is beaten to it by Pills, who simply says he thinks it's about time, he's lived long enough, and flips the switch himself, falling through the trapdoor. The others briefly mourn his sacrifice before proceeding through the opened gate. The group continues through a grass-lined path lined with plenty of flora and enter a small room with a screen and a hole. Parker is locked outside by the closing door, and Mike punches Toby into the hole once more. What is with him and pushing Toby off of ledges? Mr. Sickle appears with another message. Congratulations! You beat the maze! Despite all odds, you won, and we can finally go home! That's what I've been practicing to say to you, but I can't. You made it through the maze, but you didn't beat it. There was always a way out, but you became so focused on running the rat race and getting that cheese that you didn't even think to look for the cracks. And I don't blame you. I'm just disappointed. You're going to go back now, like I do, over and over, until something breaks. And it will probably be you. Mike panics and jumps into the hole, while Carl and Hamilton nervously stay behind. But when they hear Mike's faint voice calling, Carl jumps in himself, followed by Hamilton. They land on the platform from the beginning of the maze, meeting Toby, Mike, and the rest of the group they'd lost along the way. The TV flicks on once more. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Labyrinth of Ceaseless Agony, which still looks like it's not ceasing anytime soon. You have until sunrise to solve the puzzles of this maze and find a way out. Believe in yourself. Whoa, not that much. That statistically leads to 35% more deaths. Good luck out there, and remember, I was really rooting for ya.
Wasn't it just sunset and now it's sunrise, so now it's a part 2?
Labyrinth of Ceaseless Agony. It just keeps going.
Wow.
And now we've reached a section I call Time to Meet Your Maker. See, rather than showing up in the in-between like Carl usually does at the end of all of his adventures, he finds himself in a pale white world, standing on a giant clock. Exploring around a bit, he notices someone we know, but he hasn't met before. XD in the center. So rather than showing up in the in-between, he's in XD's world from the finale of the last one. Carl steps back and asks who he is, and XD introduces himself as God, and that they are inside his clock. Carl then asks if he can go home, but XD refuses, saying he has a choice to make. He reveals that he's been watching Carl for quite a while, because he was the one to make Carl a time traveler. So he gifted Foolish his immortality and powers, he gave Carl the ability to time travel.
For his entertainment.
We don't know yet. We're there. What? Okay. He also reveals that the last time traveler forgot who they were, and that they were a time traveler, and he got rid of them. Who this is, I'm not sure, but it could be Rambo, like it could explain his memory issues. But granted, several of the other people have amnesia. That's like a running thing in this series.
Right.
So it could be any one of the people we know, or someone we just haven't met. He reveals that, I read that wrong. When Carl starts to wonder if that might happen to him, XD tries to give an answer, but his speech is briefly incomprehensible. XD explains that there are 2 worlds, the in-between and the other side, both created by him. He put a demigod in each world to oversee it, calling them the Overseers. He then explains that every time Carl time travels, he will end up here, in the clock, and he will have to choose only one of the 2 to visit. This time, however, Carl will be able to see both worlds. XD ends by saying that both choices will have consequences, and neither is right, only to choose which one Carl personally wants to visit. Carl selects the other side first, and XD wishes him good luck. Carl emerges in the dark and eldritch-looking, but warm and inviting castle of the other side. He enters and meets the Overseer. Both Overseers are played by Jack Manifold, by the way. The Overseer of the other side is the one who wrote the books that guided Carl escaping in the in-between, our caps lock narrator. He states that he was given this world to oversee and expresses his excitement to finally talk face-to-face with Carl. Carl, however, does not share the sentiment, simply expressing his desire to return home. The Overseer understands, but says that Carl has much to learn here. The other side was built using Carl's memories. As they explore the castle, they find an area resembling that of the village that went mad, as well as ghosts of the people there, but they don't respond to Carl. Even another area resembling the beach episode, though Carl is disappointed to find no one there. The Overseer explains that these areas form from his travels in time, and the longer he stays on the other side, the more clear they will become. Eventually, he will even be able to converse with them, and they may help him on his travels. Carl, somewhat overwhelmed with this information, steps backwards. The Overseer notices and tries to convince Carl to spend more time on the other side, saying he believes Carl has a responsibility to help those he meets, and that this is the best way to do it. Carl says he understands, but tells the Overseer that he's decided to go to the in-between and hopefully back home. At this, he starts walking back to the entrance, but is followed by the Overseer, who says Carl needs so much time to generate his memories from all his adventures, and staying is the only way to do this. Carl continues to exit the castle, still followed by the Overseer pleading and begging for him to stay, saying that the present is just one small moment in comparison to his influence over the entirety of time, and that there are people counting on him. At the entrance, Carl stops and sternly tells the Overseer that there are people counting on him back home as well. Hearing this, the Overseer calms down and accepts Carl's decision, asking him to come back again sometime. And Carl enters the bright and sterile-looking but cold and distant castle of the In-Between. The Overseer of the In-Between reveals that he wrote the books warning Carl not to stray from the path, or one who was using Quackity's smile. So this is him now. Both him and Carl are annoyed by each other considering past events, and Carl has no interest in staying in the palace that supposedly drains his identity. The Overseer tries to convince Carl that he was keeping him safe, but Carl deeply questions why he should choose the in-between over the other side. The Overseer responds by revealing he knows about Carl's memory loss every time he time travels. He could teach Carl to control his powers and prevent the memory loss from happening. He leads Carl to a courtyard, along the way stopping him from straying too far once again. When Carl tells the Overseer about how the other side allows him to help others, the Overseer responds by telling him how he should help himself first. With how he is forgetting the people closest to him. When Carl retorts that he would never forget his friends, the Overseer tells him that he doesn't realize it's already happening. With this new info, it could be that he was using Quackity's smile not to try and get Carl to trust him, but to try to remind him of who he's already forgotten. So that explains why Carl doesn't remember Quackity in the Lost Nevada series. By then, he's already traveled so much that he's completely forgotten his memories of Quackity as his fiancé.
No wonder he was acting on edge.
And that's why the Overseer of the In-Between was using his smile to try and trigger that memory.
Insane.
Yeah.
Fuck.
The Overseer states that he can teach Carl things he wouldn't believe were possible, such as how to control when he'll time travel and where and when he'll end up too. And that it would make Carl's powers his very own instead of a random thing. His powers are unique, and he should learn to better them. This self-sacrificial nature won't get Carl far, and perhaps if he stays long enough, they can even fix his memory loss. While Carl understands, he admits that he still doesn't trust the Overseer, to which the Overseer repeats the lines as he always has before. Fear not. This is not a place to provoke harm, but a place to feel at ease. When Carl appears back home in his library, he documents his more recent time travel escapade in a book called The Maze. The Maze. The Maze began as a bunch of random people who were all brought together in one place and were given a simple task: to get to the end of a maze with people you have never met before. This may seem simple enough, but some people were proven to be quite untrustworthy, which resulted in a multitude of casualties. Once the survivors made it to the end, it was revealed that they had in fact failed what they set out to do in the first place: escape the maze. Because of this, they reset the maze as if it had never began, spiraling them into a new form of purgatory, which with not much shot of escaping. After signing and storing the book, Carl writes a new diary entry for himself. Diary entry number 5. This is all becoming too much. I don't really understand what the right thing is to do. One hand, the other side. The other side is made for me to be able to go back and meet all the people I have time traveled to. And in a way, it's morally correct to spend time there, as it will help better my understanding of how I can better help the people I time travel to. On the other hand, the in-between. The in-between serves as a place for me to go to learn about my time traveling abilities. And although that's important, I feel I do have an obligation to try and give the stories I travel to a happy ending. The overseer at the in-between spoke a lot about me losing my memory. So for safekeeping, I think it's best to write down a list of my close ones. That way I can never completely lose touch. Sapnap, George, Bad, Foolish, and Tina. Quacky's name is left. Not written.
But Sapnap is first.
Sapnap!
I knew it.
The
I was
husbando.
gonna be like, if his name isn't first, oh my goodness, but it's first.
I feel like it's already starting. Like I may have already begun losing sight of who is closest to me. It's important that I do my best to preserve what I still have. Carl places this new diary entry with the rest, and the episode ends. The final line we see is, "Carl, I've been waiting so long to meet you." The first words of the other side overseer said to him. And now, some trivia. Yay! So during the stream, people kept accidentally dying when they weren't supposed to, hence why they were teleported back to the rest of the group. Like Mike, Toby, and Pill showing up again. George named his character Toby, which is Tobo's real name, by the way. So in response, Tobo named his character George.
Oh.
And now,
Okay.
I have a few things about this. This is my biggest thing. Why is there no alternate Tommy? Not once in these episodes do we ever run into an alternate or reincarnation of Tommy in the past and future.
Right.
In which this stands out to me so much because he's nowhere at all. The main character and the single most influential person in the entirety of this story is nowhere to be seen.
Not even mentioned either?
Not even mentioned. Aside from in the Lost City of Mizu when they mention everything.
Oh, right. That one is...
So, why is he the anomaly? Like, yeah, other people don't really show up, but Tommy feels like such an important exclusion. And here's the thing. Tales of the SMP was meant to have more episodes. And the next one was titled Space Race, which listed Tommy as one of the people showing up.
So now he comes in, but
that episode was never
happened.
made.
Yeah. Oh my.
So, why is he not there? Why is our Tommy seemingly the only one to ever exist? Ever?
Because he's too perfect.
And I genuinely, I need theories on this. Carl, can I convince you to continue this series? I want to know.
Carl.
And, another more bit, this can be added to the trivia. Is Carl time traveling? Or is he just flipping through all the different times XD has reset the world? I don't know if we ever get an answer to that, but that's just like my own speculation.
That's a cool theory.
Are you actually time traveling, or are you flipping forth between realities?
Because it seems like it's just like alternate realities of the
yeah, and we know
server.
XD can reset time and that reincarnation exists.
Yes.
Because that's how the main story ends.
Yes.
So, like, is this a reset, or is he actually time traveling? Yeah.
Story
Yeah.
of Undertale.
Right? And the last little bit of trivia is that the egg remembers the resets. Whatever it is on the same level of power as XD. It just never gets to hatch because XD keeps resetting every time it gets close to hatching. So, like, the XD and the egg have this weird feud going on. So, seemingly, the egg is on not only the same level of him, but could be the key to defeating XD in any future resets.
And the egg...
They just have to let it hatch, but it's like picking between one evil. But that's it.
That's it?
That's it!
Oh my
goodness! Oh!
That was all your notes!
That was all my notes. 88
Yes.
pages!
Oh my goodness.
Good job.
Yes.
Good job.
Good job to you.
Oh my god, thank you guys for... If you watched all of this, oh my god, thank you for tuning in. This is so much work. I'm debating what to cover next, as SMP is getting a season 2 in a few days.
Yes.
So I might do a Lorecast on season 1.
to find out what happened there.
Please.
I'm
having so much fun with this.
Yeah, make any requests for anything you want me to cover. But that's it. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.